example, not just for me, but for my children, my grandson. I want to prove to myself, I have to prove this to myself, that I'm going to do this.
I'm looking for forgiveness. This puppy, this is gonna be my second chance. That's just how I see it. It's a second chance for me to do something right.
That's Chief. But that documentary clip you saw was from the movie Prison Dogs. It'll be showing as a part of the Real Abilities Film Festival tomorrow night at the Edwards Greenway Grand Palace Theater. With us this morning to talk about that film and about the festival, Susan Farb Morris, who's a co-chair of this year.
Good morning.
And Aaron Mixell, who is with Patriot Paws. They service dogs that provide service dogs to veterans who are dealing with PTSD. And his dog is Chief, handsome. Hi, Chief. Thank you for coming in this morning, bud. It's really neat. So before we talk to Chief and Aaron, talk about the Real Abilities Festival. This is the 2018 year, but every year it's amazing in what it does. Talk about what that festival is all about.
Well, this is our 6th year, Cambrell, and it's a festival that talks about inclusion, but we do it in a way that's more user-friendly, I should say, that we celebrate people's abilities as opposed to their disabilities. I mean, Houston is such a diverse city, so we're fortunate to have the biggest Real Abilities Festival in the country, where we use not only film, but we've expanded to art, music. We have real music, and just last week we had a speaker series as well.
The good thing about all of this is that it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to take part and come see these films. Oh,
it's totally free. We have extremely generous underwriters, starting with our lead sponsor, Tier Memorial Hermann, and the Bristow Group, and just so many generous sponsors. So the films are free, and what really seems to get everybody excited is that the parking is free at the Greenway. So you've got a great date night. And several movies to go to.
A good night, and the Prison Dogs, I've had a chance to look at that. It's so gripping because the inmates actually work with these dogs for a long period of time, and you get a dog like Chief. Aaron, how did you get involved with this dog?
So I had done 20 years of military experience, and in one of my deployments I was injured. And my wife had heard of Patriot Paws service dogs that help veterans rehabilitate and get integrated back in the community.
And that whole process, were you nervous about getting a dog, or at that time were you just like, I need some help and I want it?
I need the help both physically and mental health side. That's what the dogs do both. They do both mobility and mental health service to our veterans. And getting integrated, I'm a father, a husband, so getting integrated back to the family was super important to us when we came home.
Now you've had him for 3 years.
I have.
Approximately how old is he?
He's about 6 years old right now.
Okay, so when he came to you, was this his first, were you his first?
I was his first veteran,
So you kind of broke in with each other.
Sure, yeah.
And how has that relationship developed over there?
It's great. I mean, I can tell you the 65 cues they got, the 200 he knows now, but it's the stuff I don't have to ask for that changes my life.
He knows 200.
He does.
And the things that such as when you say things that you don't have to ask for that he's helped.
Sure, one of my injuries is I can't put my head below my heart, so anything that hits the ground he automatically picks up without a cue. If I lay down in bed and can't get up, he'll tug me out of bed and help me get out of bed and get my shoes that I can't reach for.
Watching the movie itself, we got video from the movie, and you saw that inmates in that scenario had 2 years to work with these puppies to get them to a point where they could be helpful to a veteran like you. What does it say? How do you feel when you see what has gone into developing these dogs to get them to the point where they can be as helpful as they are?
Yeah, that's a super special relationship. Chief actually knows one of his inmates that have paroled out and gets to see her as well.
Is that right?
And
so it's a woman inmate?
It is a woman inmate. We're in both prison systems, men and women here in Texas. 2 women units and 1 male unit. And the dogs remember the inmate they had, and that's a special relationship. But we actually have women that get out and work for us now. that were inmates and worked for Patriot Paws service dogs, and it's a great way to rehabilitate two separate communities.
Well, I'm going to make sure I put Patriot Paws information on the website so that people who want to know about that can do that. But I also want to find out about more highlights for coming up next week. That's just one.
Well, tonight, okay, at 6:30, the doors open for Swim Team, and that's a film where it's a documentary also. All the members of a swim team are young men on the autism spectrum. So this took place in, I think, upstate New York, where a young man who wanted to be on a swim team, but he was autistic, didn't have that outlet. And so his dad said, you know what, then we're going to make that happen. So there's movies that are just so uplifting. So that's tonight. The Monday night that Aaron was speaking about is our mental health night. Tuesday night we have a film that's actually a Houston-based filmmaker, Nicole Ellis, who's the daughter of Rodney Ellis, and she did a documentary called Blind Date, and it's how do people who are blind meet in our high-tech age? Okay, so we start at 4 o'clock matinee with Blind Date, and then that night there's a movie called Looking at the Stars, and it's about a dance company, if you can believe it, in Brazil, where all the ballerinas are blind. So they have to adapt, and that's what's so good about Real Abilities, that we learn about how people approach their visible or invisible disabilities and have productive lives.
It's an amazing festival. I'm not shocked that you're involved with it. You were involved in all kind of amazing things. Thank you for what you do for this community. You're just a wonderful woman, and thank you for coming out and talking about Patriot Paws. We're going to put the information on, and Chief, thank you as well. If you want to find that information, you can go to their website, realabilitieshouston.org. You can get all the information. But the movie starting tonight, Edwards Greenway, Theater number 12, admission is free, and the parking is free. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate all of it.
Thanks for having us.
Good luck for you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Thank you for coming in. He's a great dog.
He's happy.
He's a great dog. All right, final thoughts.